And then a few record flights close to my heart. Caroline Garrett and Cal Foy departed from San Diego on their record flight around the world, westbound. And I was flying information with Hans-Georg Schmidt into Zurich in, I think it was April 2000. I was already getting in this round the world mood, so I was very excited. And finally, there are the round the world races, air races and rallies. What happened in the early 90s was that the Soviet Union collapsed and Russia was opening up, and there were two Frenchmen who organized round the world flight. One was Bernard Lamy, Arc-en-Ciel, France. He had already organized before that many long-range flights to Peking and etc. And then there was another Frenchman who died recently, Marcel Large, Rate International, who also organized, but it was complicated to get fuel distributed in those days. They didn't have Mach aviation yet. And I think the second flight they shipped it around with an Illusion cargo plane. And the first, I think they did it with trucking, I'm not sure. And here are the routings. I had three friends who were on the first flight. And on the second one, a close friend of mine in Geneva was flying along with Marcel Large. He told me that on the flight from Sivchika to Novosibirsk, they had a problem with their mooning. There was a leak in one of the fuel injectors. So the fuel flow was 50% higher than normal. They landed at night time in Novosibirsk, and when they had landed, the engine stopped and they couldn't taxi, they had to be towed away.
Good job.
Okay, a couple more. There are several people here who were on the Hans Gutmann FAI round the world flight in 2009. And this is a close friend of Angela and me, Rodrigo. We used to go skiing with him. He participated in that. There's a nice picture of the Ararat. And recently we were not so far from that. Okay, Marty has talked about how this association was created. And basically, there's three objectives, and it's Claude who has defined it all. It's creation with the website with a database of all the around the world flights, a notice board which is regularly updated with recent news, and organize face-to-face meetings with Earthrounder pilots and wish to be Earthrounder pilots. And over the years, as Martin mentioned, I have attended all of the meetings except one. We have met so many close friends. It's just amazing. Our traditions, Martin talked about it. Basically, we have no written rules, but we have a few unwritten ones. No president, but we've had a competent and motivated grandfather for 25 years. To prepare for the future, a board has been proposed with a consensus to maintain these traditions. The regular meetings, there was OSCOS 2000, Vienna 2001, hosted by Hans Gutmann, Perth, Australia, hosted by Claude Manier, Mexico City, hosted by Borja and Manu Cornish, Cape Town, South Africa. It was decided in Mexico that Frank and Doris Hedlick, who had flown around in 2003, would organize the meeting. Unfortunately, in the year before, in 2007, Frank and Doris was on a flight around South America. We followed them all the time. Doris took an airline from Buenos Aires to Cape Town, and Frank was flying the plane via Natal, Dakar. I was in close contact with Frank by email, and unfortunately he didn't make it. And then there was the Brazilian meeting hosted by Martin Ramos, another fantastic meeting. Then the meeting I missed in Florida. St. Petersburg, Russia was hosted by Sergei Terekin, also a fantastic meeting. We loved it. Then there was Bob Bates, who's present here, who organized a wonderful meeting in Mount Hagen. It was a rather small group, but a wonderful meeting in a very exotic environment in a country which Bob Bates fell in love with and enjoyed. And at that meeting it was decided that Wei Chen would take the next meeting in China. Also very interesting. And finally, in China, there was a Swiss guy who wanted to fly some handicapped pilots around the world on 2 ultralights. Unfortunately, there was a serious accident in Thailand, and only the support plane finished the trip around the world. But nevertheless, he had the meeting. It was postponed a bit because of COVID. And finally, we have the Kyrgyzstan 2025. And then I'm bragging a bit because I love to fly into a certain meeting. So all the ones with the little asterisk is the one where I flew my own airplane. This was the first one. I'm not in that picture. I wasn't an Earthrounder yet. Oops. And I don't have the Vienna picture, but here's the, here's the Perth meeting, hosted by Claude. And it's just nice family pictures. Mexico meeting, we all got very drunk on tequila. And I love this picture because there is the tail of honeymoon there, just to the left of Hans Gutmann. And this was hosted by Doris, who's sitting over there. And the Brazilian meeting, we got a nice flight in Antonov. And Florida meeting, I wasn't there, but I'm sure it was associated with the Sun and Fun. And there were a lot of people coming to the St. Petersburg meeting. And Papua New Guinea is a bit difficult access, so there are a bit fewer people than usual, but the large majority of the Hedlich family was there. And this is only a subset of the people attending the China meeting. And Chateaudet, again, there was a lot of people, but the weather was terrible.